today we're going to be looking at 3.19 French Carol on page 25 in your book. So this exercise we introduce, or this piece rather, we introduce DC al fine. DC, which is an abbreviation for da capo, is an Italian term that refers to the beginning, or literally the head, the top. Okay? At the DC al fine marking, you return to the beginning of the piece and then play it again until you reach the word fine, which is the end. So if you look at this exercise, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 measures in the first line, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 measures total. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What you're going to do is play from measure 1 all the way through measure 12. And you'll notice that there's no final bar line. It's just a double bar line. And above that last measure, it says DC al fine. Okay, so DC al fine will then tell you to go back to the top like a repeat sign, and you'll play measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 until you reach that rest of measure 8 with the retake where it says fine, and that would be the actual ending of the piece. So you don't stop there the first time through, obviously. You stop there after you repeat. Okay, so it's like a shorter version, or an kind of implosion version of first and second ending. Rather than have an extra measure set to it for a separate type of ending, it's actually going to end within the music rather than adding more music. Okay, so we have pretty much now playing throughout the whole piece one time through, repeat back to the beginning, and end at the end of the 8th measure where it says fine. So I'm going to give you an example of what it sounds like first for your recording, and then we're going to break it down a little bit. So I'm going to play it first on the violin, which is, of course, the also version of the viola. So, well, even the cello. I'm just going to play this for you on this instrument, and then we're going to break it down for both all three instruments. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was the fine. So you notice how I played from the beginning all the way to the end of measure 12. That marking DC al fine told me to go back to measure 1 and play all through those 8 measures until I got to that fine marking. And that would be the actual ending. All right, so let's break it down a little bit, okay? Now in measure 1, we're going to start with the low A, first finger on the G string. For the violin, that's the lowest string. Viola, that's the second lowest, as well as the cello, second lowest string. So we have low A, open D, F sharp D, low A, D, D. Okay, that's that rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. That next half note is 2 beats long, right? A, D, D, F sharp D, A, D, D. Okay, then we go to measure 3 and 4. This one's a bit tricky because you play D twice, and that second D is on an eighth note, so it's going to be played shorter, and you'll get this kind of melody here slowly. Quarter note, eighth, quarter note, eighth. That's measure 3. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and, or pitch-wise now, D, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, okay? And then we add measure 4 to that, and we have E first finger, open D, E first finger, and then you hop, right, to the next string, also first finger on the G string. So you have 1, open, 1, hop, 1. Here's measure 3 and 4. D, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, E, E, A. Okay? Then you have the same exact rhythm that you had on measure 1 and 2 on measures 5 and 6. So you have to worry about that one. Again, you start on low A. Go to measure 7, and it's the same thing as measure 3. Again, you have that D, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp. Land on E again on measure 8, like you did on measure 4. But instead of going to D, you're going to go to open A, then open D. So E, open A, open D. Then you have a rest and a retake. So you have one full beat to lift and turn your bow back over to down bow for F sharp, G, open A, G, F sharp, G. B, first finger on the A string, and then open A. There it is again, measures 9 and 10. F sharp, G, A, open, G, F sharp, G. 1 on the A string, open A. You have the same kind of rhythm as measure 9 and 10 on the next two measures, but different pitches. You still start on F sharp, G, A. This time B, A, G, F sharp, E. Then you hop back down. It didn't say so, but you hop back down to low A because you have to repeat back at the beginning for da capo. Okay? So practice this like 2 measures at a time or 1 measure at a time, then play the 2 measures, and then work your way through it the best that you can. One of the things that helps you out too is not just to practice those 2 measures, but practice leading into a measure. That way you can remind yourself with your muscle memory how it's supposed to feel when you go to the next section. For example, if I'm playing measure 1 and 2 always, and I'm just constantly practicing that, I'm not going to know the feel I get for the movement to the next 2 measures. So maybe you just practice measure this time 2 and 3 rather than 1 and 2. Okay. Also, of course, knowing what your bow markings are, because that second measure should have started with an up bow, because the first measure should be down, up, down, up, down. Then measure 2, that low A starts on an up bow. Okay, so know your bow markings, mark them in for yourself, and again, practice slowly first, and then add it all together before you do recording. Make sure, of course, you do as well the DC al fine, playing measure 1 all the way through measure 12, repeat back to the beginning for da capo, and play all the way until you get to the fine on measure 8. All right, so good luck at the recordings, and I can't wait to see them. Bye-bye now.